How's it going, party people? Novaverse here, and today I'll be doing a review over the One Piece live action adaptation on Netflix. I'll be doing a little bit more detailed analysis on the episodes, things I noticed, things I liked, things I didn't like, and all that stuff. Huge spoilers ahead if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, let's hop right into it. Alright, so to start off, first episode, Romance Dawn. I was writing notes the whole time while watching this series. Just little things I noticed. Straight off the bat, we get the Gold D. Roger execution, and in that very same iconic scene, we see the main stars or the main pirates. We see Shanks in there. Some people hinted to there was a woman next to Shanks's younger character, and some think it's Crocodile, female Crocodile, but I don't know if Oda was willing to put that little spoiler in there. But you know, a theorist can dream. Also Garp. Garp was at the execution, which was very different, but makes very sense. Roger is literally the king of the pirates at this time, and I mean, we need all hands on deck to make sure that the brother gets executed. You know what I mean? He's not doing anything wild. Garp was there, and I thought that was a very interesting but good touch at the very same time. We actually get to see Zoro versus Mr. Seven from Baroque Works. They already bring up Baroque Works very quickly, or very yeah, quickly. I can't even think. And we actually see Zoro slice him in half and literally dragging his dead body around, which I was like, oh wow, they're kicking it up a notch, am I right? Very like that. Very similar to the anime, Luffy getting onto Alvida's ship, beating up Alvida and joining up with Kobe to go to Shelltown. That was very spot on, just you know, straight to the point with that. And then we already have a lot of the main Straw Hats already on Shelltown. Nami, Zoro, and Luffy already in Shelltown. They first episode covers quite a bit. Like they are already out of Shellstown first episode, so they definitely picked it up and put it in that, bundled everything up in that first episode, which I think is pretty good. You know what I mean? They summed up the main important things they needed to cover in all those chapters and anime episodes, so I think they did very well. Also, for each episode, I put down characters that I think were my favorite in each episode. So I put Luffy and Kobe down. I think Luffy and Kobe were fantastic in Romance Dawn, the first episode. I would say more Kobe. I actually really like Kobe in the first episode. I think his actor did fantastic with Kobe. But yes, that was Romance Dawn. Alright, next is the second episode, The Man in the Straw Hat. So going right off of this, we already have Nami, Luffy, and Zoro on the ship leaving Shellstown, and immediately they're already getting attacked by the Buggy Pirates. And thus, when getting attacked by the Buggy Pirates, Luffy eats the Grand Line map, which I thought was a very interesting aspect with that. In the anime and manga, Nami kind of like sells out Luffy and Zoro so she can get that bag, that money. Basically, everyone gets captured by the Buggy Pirates. And this one, for this one, I think it's Orange Town or something like that. I think it's Orange Town. The town is already destroyed, and Buggy actually has the villagers of that town as is held captive for his circus, which I thought was very interesting. In the like anime and manga, I don't it kind of hint that like either he killed them or like they just left the village, and like the only people who were there was the mayor, I believe, and what's it called, the dog Chow Chow, who was guarding the pet owner's shop, which by the way, Chow Chow is not in there. The dog is not there, but I believe people said that he was at like split second towards the end they saw a dog, so maybe Chow Chow was there. Not entirely sure. But yes, Buggy has all the villagers captured at his basically circus. They're his audience, and they make him definitely more, you know, like hey kids, you know, this is my circus, this is my performance, basically, in a sense. So he's kind of like performing for them, but you know, they're held captive. They also changed up, they actually added a interesting storyline, which I mean, they don't really, they added it in, but they didn't go into any more depth about it. But Kabaji, one of Buggy's like crewmates, basically tells or confronts Zoro that he kills his brother. And I mean, Zoro's kind of like, oh, I mean, I kill a bunch of people, so I don't even know who your brother is. And you know, Kabuji is like, I'm gonna get revenge on you and all that stuff. Zoro breaks out, and we never see Kabuji again. So I mean, they added that in. Maybe we'll see Kabuji again, but that's a interesting story plot they added in, but never explored. But good job on trying on that. In this series, we get a lot more of the Marines. We get a lot more screen time with the Marines. It's basically the other storyline in the series. You know, in the anime and manga, we are always on Luffy, and then maybe some like filler episode or like for a split second, we'll see like some side characters and what they're doing at the time. But the second plot story is basically Garp with Kobe, and you know, basically he is on Luffy's tail the entire series, trying to catch up with Luffy. Not bad, but it was very interesting that Garp is like already on Luffy's butt straight out of Shell's Town. Like Luffy just started his adventure, and we got Vice Admiral already on Luffy's butt. His grandpa just coming over there to go beat him up. So Luffy had it rough. Luffy had it definitely rough in this series with Garp right on his back. Jumping back to Buggy and Luffy. Buggy tortures Luffy in a seawater tank. I wrote that down. Yeah, I mean, they were not holding back anything in this series. They went straight to torture with, I mean, they were stretching out Luffy, but I mean, he's Gum Gum, you know, he's a rubber man, so he was gonna stretch no matter what. But definitely, he was about to drown Luffy, like straight off the bat. I mean, Luffy drowns quite a bit in this series. like like Devil Fruit users are like, oh, we seawater, we got you. We're definitely using seawater on you. So he was drowning Luffy in a seawater tank. Almost dies, but you know, main protagonist, he ain't gonna die. Also, towards the end, when like Zoro and Nami break out and then they save Luffy, the Buggy pirates are gone. Like Buggy's crew is entirely gone, and it's just Buggy there to basically fight off the three of them. I have no idea where his crew went. I thought they were ride or dies. They just rode off into the distance, I guess. So Buggy was there by himself. Also, no Richie the lion. What's up with that? Richie became captain of the Buggy Pirates in the side story, so you gotta have Richie. They even hint in the show. Buggy's like, "And we don't even have a lion," and I'm like, "Yeah, where's Richie?" I mean, he becomes your basically substitute pirate or captain in the anime. And then basically, yeah, they beat Buggy. We get short Buggy whenever his parts get collected, and he goes flying off. So we don't get the kind of like story arc of when Buggy meets I'm totally forgetting his name, but he's like stuck in the treasure chest with the unique animals or the special animal island, and then the Buggy Pirates come and save Buggy. We don't get that, so very unfortunate. But yeah, basically we also get Kobe in Hamepo's mini arc of them like getting picked up by Garp and going up the ranks. It's more like they're getting like trained with Garp. So it's very interesting. So like in the manga, whenever you go into like the next chapter, they just have like a one image, but it's like continuous images that have a side story or a mini story of side characters that you know we can still like catch up on. So they basically are doing that in a sense as their second storyline. But for this episode, I actually put Buggy as my favorite character for the second episode. Buggy was kind of, I don't know, they kind of make him like Joker-esque in a sense. Like he's like you see these scars and all that stuff. Like he's trying to be just like, I don't know, trying to be like Joker in a sense. He's trying to be Joker, but he's trying to be Buggy at the same time. I don't know. I didn't mind it, but I kind of noticed that thing. But I think Buggy was the best character in the second episode. Third episode is Tell No Tales, and this is when we finally get to the crew finally gets to Syrup Village, which is where Usopp is. Straight off the bat, very interesting. So Buggy somehow gets back to his circus tent and gets his body parts. He's already meeting Kurobi, the Stingray guy from the Arlong Pirates. So the Arlong Pirates and Buggy are already like connected, which I thought was very interesting. But it's very cool to see like, the actual like other East Blue characters or East Blue pirates like interacting with each other. I actually like that. I thought that was very interesting. We still continue the story of Garp and his fleet chasing Luffy, like they're on Luffy's tail like ASAP. And then we get how Usopp meets Luffy and the crew is basically they're already in the shipyard. Luffy already sees the Going Merry, and then Usopp's like, yo, I built this ship. He didn't really build the ship. Yeah, so that's how we meet Usopp. In the anime and manga, it's Usopp with the Usopp Pirates, which the Usopp Pirates aren't in here. What's up with that? We didn't get the Usopp Pirates. Usopp basically sees his Jolly Roger, like the flag that Luffy makes, and basically, does this good old like pirates are coming, and that's basically how Usopp meets Luffy and them. I didn't mind that. We go, they're definitely trying to pick up the story with this series. Already them getting to the shipyard to see the Going Merry and meeting Usopp at the same time, killing two birds with one stone basically. So didn't mind that. We also get to see Kuro with Sham and Bucci. That's the only Black Cat pirates we see. There's like no other black, like he has like no more crew anymore. It's only Sham and Bucci, but I'm totally fine with that. I mean, he barely survived from what's it called, messing them up. Just having Sham, Bucci, and Kuro. I mean, that's a trio right there. I'm totally fine with that. Also, with different, Luffy's crew goes to dinner with Kaya, who invites them. Instead of kind of a big fight with the Kuro pirates and all them, like outside of the village, kind of like towards the beach or somewhere off in the distance. This whole plot is in Kaya's mansion, which I thought was interesting. Kuro also, when he reveals himself, I forgot his butler name. It's like Khaled, DJ Khaled or something like that. I don't know. Reveals himself to be Kuro. Actually kills Mary, who actually owns the shipyard for the moment because Kaya's not old enough. He owns the shipyard and he also like helped make or inspire the Going Merry. Yeah, he gets killed. In the anime and manga, he just gets wounded by Kuro. No, my brother dead. So R.I.P. Mary. Sorry about that, my goat brother. Going back, Arlong basically interrogates Buggy to find Luffy. Arlong wants his Grand Line map, which basically Nami has. I think Nami informs Arlong earlier in that episode about that. So Arlong is also on Luffy's tail. So Luffy now has Arlong and Garp on his tail. So Luffy is getting hunted down like nobody's business. Luffy drinks poison soup. Oh yeah, Kuro's like slowly poisoning Kaya, and basically Luffy gets hungry and eats Kaya's poison soup. I just wrote that down because like throughout the whole like One Piece series, Luffy can't stop getting poisoned. Luffy just multiple times and multiple occasions, Luffy almost died to poison. Or I think like 2 times Luffy almost died to poison. Magellan and then Sanji's like sister or something saved him from poison, but he got poisoned from some other things. I don't know. But yeah, Luffy, I mean, he cannot dodge poison for some reason. He is always consuming or taking poison. I don't know why. I wrote Sham knocks out Zoro. We don't do that, Zoro. Come on, man. We can't let Sham knock us out. No, sir. No Django. 1-2 Django was not in here. My man Michael Jackson was not in here. I was very, very sad. Zoro did hint to Kuro, aka DJ Khaled. He's like, "You look familiar. Have I seen you in I forgot what the play, like Funky Bar, I think it was, but I think Funky Bar is like that side episode where Django hypnotizes the whole town to basically like dance. I might be totally wrong, but I thought that's what the reference was to, the hint to like kind of like Django. But yeah, Django basically hypnotizes the whole village and they basically have a disco party and all that stuff while Luffy and them are getting chased by Marines. I think I remember that. I don't know. Also, in the very end, Kobe and Garp arrive at Syrup Village to help. They are already on Syrup Village while Luffy is also there too. So like they are speed running trying to capture Luffy, which I was like, that's totally insane. Holy cow. My favorite characters in this episode. I put Usopp. I really like Usopp in this episode, but I also like Kuro, DJ Khaled. I really like Usopp, but Kuro was a very close second. I very enjoyed Kuro in this series and episode. All right, next episode is episode 4. The pirates are coming. You know, hinting what Usopp keeps on saying multiple times throughout the series. So the pirates are coming. We have Kuro turns in Luffy to the Marines. So Luffy already in a sense gets captured by the Marines already on Syrup Village. So yeah, Garp completed that speed run of capturing Luffy fairly quickly. Or I guess Kobe in a sense. And we also, you know, get to see that, you know, Usopp's constant like lying and storytelling kind of screws him over because pirates are actually here, which is like the Black Cat pirates. My man tries to tell the village, no one believes him. He tries to tell he tries to tell the Marines don't believe him. And then he tries to tell Kaya, which I mean, he, you know, you would think that like, hey, you know, we have a really close like friendship and stuff like that. No, she doesn't believe him. I mean, she mostly listened to him because she was interested in his stories. She knew it was like fake, you're telling stories and all that stuff. So whenever he's trying to be real, bit him in the butt. Sorry, my boy Usopp, kind of screwed you over. Now I gotta sit you down for this one. So after Sham hits Zoro over the head or something, they throw Mary's dead body and Zoro down a well. Okay? Now, Zoro needs to get out of that well so he can go help his friends out. Tell me why this whole episode was side adventure was Zoro trying to get out of this damn well. And tell me why he had his infamous history montage or backflash of, you know, him finding his best friend. He needs a flashback montage to get out of that well. Are you kidding me right now? We give flashback montages for special events like when he fights Mihawk and stuff like that. Which when he fights Mihawk, he gets the flashback slightly, you know what I mean? But no. When we're getting out of a well, we don't get flashback montage of my friend dying, and that's how I'm gonna be the best swordsman ever. You kidding me? I was very disappointed on that part. I was like, what are we doing, Zoro? They were nerfing Zoro so bad on that part, but they definitely pick him up later back on. Or I mean, first episode literally sliced Mr. 7, and then episode 4, 3 and 4, we get knocked out by Sham, and then we're stuck in a well and we have to get a flashback. So that was crazy. I don't know what's going on with that. Also, finally when Zoro gets out the damn well, Luffy basically throws up on Himepo. He's like, oh, I feel better now, I threw up. And he goes with Zoro. He's basically like, peace, Kobe, I gotta go save my friend. So Luffy fights Kuro, and Zoro fights Butchie and Sham in Kaya's house. So they're not on the beach side next to the pirate ship and all that stuff. Now we're in that mansion permanently, and we're fighting. I enjoyed the fights. I thought they were alright. I think they're alright. I don't think they were amazing or anything like that, but you know, you can only do so much with Stretchy Man and Speedy Cat person. So yeah, I guess that was basically that episode. I mean, after that, you know, the be Kuro escapes, and then the crew gets the going merry, and Usopp joins them. So that was the 4th episode. The pirates are coming. My favorite character was Kuro in that one. I don't know. I think Kuro actor and character was amazing during this series. I really liked him. That's just me though. I haven't seen anyone else cheering on Kuro on like social media and all that stuff. I guess I'll praise it till the cows come home. I really like Kuro in these beginning episodes. 5th episode, we have Eat at Baratier. Basically, finally get to meet up with Sanji over at the Baratier, the floating restaurant. Garp is already on hot pursuit of Luffy. We get the scene of them already escaping Syrup Village, and Garp does his infamous scene of throwing cannonballs at Luffy and his crew very early on. We don't get that till like way later in the anime or manga, but we get it now, which I'm totally fine. I mean, we're trying to speedrun, you know what I mean? We're trying to speedrun the series. So we already have Garp throwing cannonballs at Luffy, already on hot pursuit. Luffy escapes, of course, by reflecting a cannonball with his tum-tum at Garp's ship, and they get to sail away. Awesome. We get to see Mihawk. Freaking awesome. I love Mihawk. Apparently we have Bluetooth earpiece transponder snails now. That's what's up. We're getting up there in technology. Was totally cool with that. My man was fighting with one hand with his sword and was like, "How can I direct your call or whatever? Garp, how can I help you?" My man, yeah, he was putting in that work. The so we in the anime and manga we have Don Krieg. He's the one who attacks the Baratier. Then Mihawk comes because he's like been chasing him down from the Grand Line or whatever. No, we don't get Don Krieg at the Baratier. We have Mihawk on his Bluetooth earpiece killing Krieg off on the side like it's nothing. And yeah, Krieg don't make it to the Baratier. But we do get Jin. Jin makes it to the Baratier somehow. We get the scene of Sanji's feeding Jin. But then after that, we don't see Jin anymore. And the whole point of Jin coming to the Baratier, because then he was like, "Yo, Krieg, there's food here. Let's restock so we can get back to the Grand Line." Or not. It's been a while since I watched the the beginning episodes. But yeah, so we feed Jin, but then like we don't do anything else with it. We can't. Krieg's already off and dead. So I don't know. We could still save Jin. I guess it was just to show that Sanji was a good guy. But I mean, Luffy was already simping over him. He was like, "You're a good guy, Sanji. You're a really good cook, Sanji." I'm like, "All right, Luffy, just let him join your crew already." Gosh darn it. Garp tells Mihawk to go after Luffy, so they changed that up. You know, being a warlord of the seven warlords of the sea. Garp's basically like, "Hey, if you don't want to get you butt arrested, what about you go and get my grandson Luffy for me?" And Mihawk was like, "Sure, I'll just go over there and check it out and all that stuff." So Mihawk basically goes to the Baratier still. That's how he goes over there to go after Luffy. Jin survives the Mihawk attack. No one else does. And then we do get the Zoro versus Mihawk fight. Zoro challenges Mihawk to a duel, and I mean that fight was like spot on from like the anime and manga, from like each attack that the characters did to like the dialogue of Zoro holding up the sword to his face and he's like, "I promise I'll never lose again." Like, I thought that fight was incredibly accurate and very enjoyable. I'm telling you, once we get to the second half of this series, they pick it up and I thoroughly enjoyed it. And that fight was a perfect example of that. That was basically the main highlights of that episode. Character I mostly enjoyed in that episode, Mihawk, because of his Bluetooth speaker transponder snail, and he was amazing. Fantastic. Next, we have The Chef and the Chore Boy. That's the next episode. Also, just watching that episode, I don't know why I noticed it now. Well, now I remember why. There was no Johnny or Yosaku, which are Zoro's bounty hunter friends. I noticed they weren't there because I believe they were the ones that were told to like, "Hey, take Zoro to get medical attention so he can get saved." I'm telling you, man, these beginning episodes are a little fogged for me. It's been so long, but I believe that's what Johnny and Yosaku was told to do after the Zoro Mihawk fight. But I noticed they weren't there, which I was like, "Damn, dude, they're just cutting out so many characters." Instead, we have Zeph helps heal Zoro. He basically uses like fish skin and patches him up, and that's how Zoro gets healed, basically. So we are still on the Baratier, still keeping the group together. I would say throughout this whole series, the group doesn't really split up that much. Like in the anime and manga, Nami's like dipping as soon as she can, and then somehow still joining up with them. But yeah, in this group is pretty much together almost the whole time. Arlong comes to the Baratier, so Arlong finally catches up with Luffy and the crew, and he is at the Baratier. I'm not gonna lie, the designs and stuff for the Fishman pirate or the Arlong pirates were rough. I was getting used to Arlong. I was getting kinda used to Kurobi, but Chu, when I saw Chu, I was dying. Yeah, I know he's like the kiss fish or whatever. I don't know, and he spits the what's it called? But he looked like he got plastic surgery and not the good one. So yeah, they look rough, but I got used to Arlong, and I actually enjoyed Arlong later on in the series, and I think that's because his actor actually sold his character so well. Arlong actually takes Buggy hostage basically, and that's how able to keep on following Luffy and the crew. Buggy was basically helping out Arlong to get capture Luffy and stuff like that. Our first Arlong fight is actually at the Baratier, which is another huge change to the plot story. So Arlong fights Luffy at the Baratier. The scene at Arlong Park when Arlong drowns Luffy, we instead get that here at the Baratier. After Arlong kind of messes up Luffy, he lets Luffy just drown. We still do get Sanji throughout both live action and anime and manga. Sanji saving Luffy after being drowned, and we also get, the reveal that Nami's been working with Arlong. Arlong lets dip, just drown him off or whatever. You don't need to really kill him, just let him drown. But yeah, that's how we get that fight at the Barati instead. I don't mind actually. I mean, we didn't get the Dawn Creek fight at the Baratiers, so the only kind of fight we got was the Zoro Mihawk. And so like we're missing another fight. I was like, I'm totally fine with them adding a new fight, which I mean, it's a new fight, but it's just a fight in the future. So I was like, I'm totally fine with you doing this fight here at the Baratier, and then we still have another actual fight like Luffy and Arlong fight at Arlong Park. So I was totally fine with that. Zoro wakes up at the Baratier. He's actually like healed up and he wakes up there. Also, when Sanji's departure from the Baratier, leaving Zeph and the crew, it didn't feel as emotional from like the anime and manga. In the anime and manga, like Sanji's like on his hands and knees just crying, thanking Zeph for everything, thanking the crew for everything he's done. He owes Zeph his life. In the live action, we just have him sailing away on the boat, and while the boat's sailing off and Zeph's still on the Baratier, he's just kind of like, thanks old man, I owe you everything. But it wasn't that emotional. Like, it was just him drifting off, and like, any last words while you're drifting away, Sanji? I was disappointed on that part. It's one of my favorite scenes. It gets very emotional with Sanji leaving Zeph and the Baratier. They didn't nail it. I don't think they did at all. And Luffy captures Buggy to help find Nami. So, I mean, Buggy at this point is being just dragged along from everyone. At least they're keeping Buggy in the storyline. Buggy is a huge character in One Piece. In the anime and manga for like East Blue, once they beat Buggy like in Orange Town, we don't really see Buggy anymore. So I don't mind Buggy still being dragged along during this East Blue adventure. Like, I mean, it's East Blue, so I mean, I don't mind if everyone in East Blue gets to, like, in a sense, still come together into the storyline. Because, I mean, once we're, like, out of East Blue, we don't hear nobody else. Like, we don't hear Arlong who, Kuro who, Alvida kind of with Buggy, but who? Axeham Morgan who? Like, we don't hear anyone else on East Blue. So, I mean, I'm totally fine with, like, keeping them in the story to get as much screen time as possible. Totally fine with that. So that was basically the chef and the chore boy. My favorite characters in that one was actually Arlong. I really liked Arlong in this. And Sanji. But Sanji kind of got put in second place because of that departure. I was like, what we doing, boy? You better get on your hands and knees and thank my boy Zeph. He ate his leg for you. He ate his leg. Yeah, I put Arlong because, I mean, I think his actor really sold. He's selling Arlong. He is selling him good. He's a good salesman. And now we get to the 7th episode. The girl with the sawfish tattoo. Straight off the back, we get Arlong Park is actually kind of like an amusement park, which I thought was, very fitting. It's a park. It's an amusement park. Hippie fun. So it was kind of like amusement park themed in a sense. Didn't mind it. I thought it was interesting, different, new, liked it. Garp is kind of like one step behind, so Garp finally gets to the Baratier, and he's like questioning Zeph about just Luffy and life and all that stuff. Notice that we have no Hachi, or Hachan. I say Hachan, but Octopus Man, yeah, he's not there, so we don't get Six Sword Style, and I mean, I felt he was way more important than Chu and Kurobi. I mean, especially later on, we get to see him again. So I was like, that's very interesting that he's not here. But I mean, I imagine, I guess it was like either rough to either make him live action or rough to make him CGI. I mean, it's an octopus man, but I don't know. I don't know why they didn't add him in. There's also no Mumu. Mumu's the sea cow that kind of guards the Arlong Park. He wasn't there, so I mean, Luffy and them just walk up to Arlong Park like, "Yo, what's up? You made Nami cry? Not on my watch." We just walking up in there. Everything else pretty much was similar to the anime and manga. Nami's trying to get money for her to buy back her village. The villagers all hating Nami because they don't know, like they just think that she's a part of Arlong Pirates, just sold out. That's still there. In the anime and manga, Nojiko, who is Nami's adoptive sister, she knows why Nami joined the Arlong Pirates. But in this one, I don't think she does. And she's kind of like, she's like the villagers and she's like all salty. But everything else was pretty much copy and paste with the anime and manga. I was totally fine with it. But we do get the Nami help me scene when she asked Luffy to help her. It was very emotional. I think they did that one very well compared to the Sanji farewell scene. But that one was very good. I think the actors and actresses did very well on that scene. Very emotional. I thoroughly enjoyed it. This episode, favorite character, I put Arlong again. I'm telling you, Arlong sells it very well, and I think his actor did phenomenal. He did a phenomenal job, and I think overall this episode was very, very good. It did a very just good copy and paste kind of thing. They didn't change up too much like the first half, kept it all good, and they did great. Finally, we get to the last episode, Worst in the East. For this one, we are going straight off of Luffy and the crew going to Arlong Park to go fight Arlong. And this one, Nami actually joins the fight over at Arlong Park. She does the infamous walk scene to Arlong Park in this one. That was very cool. She's part of the crew at this point. And in this one, she's kind of like already part of the crew. Buggy is at Arlong Park. Like I said, Buggy is like in the series like the entire time. So Buggy is at Arlong Park, not fighting. He's just a floating head, so he's kind of like a side, like funny character on the side, just chatting, like the comedy relief and all that. So Buggy's at Arlong Park though. Sanji doesn't get drowned by Kurobi. There's a scene where Kurobi literally pulls Sanji down to like the bottom of the pool, or the bottom of the ocean, and like Sanji's just like ribs are going to, or lungs are about to explode. Like he's just suffering. And that was a really hard part to watch in the anime and manga. But you know, my boy Sanji gets out that pool, no problem. But we don't get that. Actually, in the Kurobi fight, it's Zoro versus Sanji versus Kurobi. Kurobi had it rough. He got a 2v1, while Chu just had the Usopp fight. Which in that one, very similar. Just Usopp catches Chu on fire, or catches him off guard and wins that fight. That was the same, but then Sanji and Zoro fights Kurobi. Garp actually makes it to Arlong Park in Nami's village after like Luffy, after everyone wins, Luffy beat Arlong and all that stuff. After they're celebrating and all that, like, yeah, we won. Garp and the Marines actually make it to Arlong Park. Actually, Garp starts fighting Luffy, which actually I was like, holy crap, what is going on? In the anime and manga, Garp he was like disappointed in Luffy that he didn't become a Marine. Also like with Ace and Sabo. But like, I mean, he would fight Luffy, but it was more like play fight. In this one, he wanted to like tear up Luffy and like arrest him. Like he was like, how dare you be a pirate and all that stuff. But I mean, he finally comes to realization after like Luffy smiles at him. He kind of sees like a little bit of Goldie Roger in him, like King of the Pirates. And he's like, you know what? Just be your man, dude. Just do your thing. And they just leave. So I was like, okay, Luffy got the approval from Garp. Yippee! So that was that. After that, Luffy gets his bounty, and we get to see everyone kind of like looking at Luffy's bounty and all that stuff. And at the very end, we get a smoker reveal. It's like a captain, Marine captain and all that stuff. But yeah, we get to see Smoker at the very end. So we might get a season 2 of them going to Luke Town. That's where Goldie Roger gets executed. So yeah, we might Might get that. Series has been pretty successful for night when seeing from like reviews and stuff. So never know. Favorite character in this one? It was rough. I think everyone did fantastic. I could say Arlong. Arlong did great. I'll just say Arlong. Arlong did good. But yeah, that was basically my deep analysis on these episodes. Sorry this video was so long. If you're even still watching. Overall, I think the series was pretty good. There's some things I nitpicked, some things I was like, okay, this is different. I enjoyed. Overall, I'm actually excited and happy that One Piece had the opportunity to make a live action adaptation. Overall, my rating, I would probably give it, I'll give probably an 8. I'm feeling like either like a 7.8 or an 8. I think it was very good compared to the other adaptations we have seen from other animes. There are just some things that were rough, but I think they can work on. I had way more things I was happy to see than negative things, honestly. Probably 7.8, just making an 8. 8 out of 10 for your boy Novaburst for the One Piece live action adaptation. Thank you guys for watching if you watched this entire thing. Thank you so much. I like doing these reviews and all that stuff. And I mean, I stayed up and watched it's an hour for each episode. So I stayed up for 8 hours as soon as it released. 8 hours to watch all those episodes. So glad I was finally able to do this review. Thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We have some other reviews on this channel as well. And hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you.